Max the Dutch Gamer.
Hey everybody, this is Max the Dutch Gamer and welcome back to my channel. About a week ago I asked my Instagram followers at Max the Dutch Gamer, follow me today, to ask me absolutely anything, and a lot of you came up with some seriously creative and cool questions, so today I answer all of them. So the first question comes from Flumfen. What game have you clocked the most hours in? I'm not ashamed to say that I'm a big Animal Crossing player. I have clocked almost 200 hours into that game. I've also played about 230 hours of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I absolutely love that game and I get back to that game as often as I can just to lay back, chill and relax. Same with Animal Crossing really. But I've also spent almost 200 hours in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now this is a game that's a huge time sink. I mean, there's hundreds of quests, there's thousands of things to do, and I just don't see the end of it. It's crazy. Same with Valhalla actually, and I'm playing that right now, and I'm only 40 hours in and I'm not even 10% in. It's nuts. Love your games, Ubisoft. So the next question is from Retro Game Papa. Which game do you think sucks, but everyone seems to really like? Well, I'm not a big fan of Fortnite. I just can't get into it. I just don't see the joy in it. I really tried my best to get into it, but I just can't get my head around it. Retro Game Papa, you mentioned Smash Bros. Well, I really like that game, but it's also not one of my favorites. And I know plenty of people who really love it. But yeah, to answer your question, definitely Fortnite. I just can't. So the next question is from Flumfen again. So thank you so much for asking so many questions, mate. The question is, if you were the master of video game puppets, what kind of game would you make with no limit to technology? So not many people know that I was actually part of a video game development studio a couple of years ago called Royal Hand Studios, and we were developing a game called Fractured, A Tale of Two Worlds. I was a scriptwriter and I helped produce the game too. It was a game for PlayStation VR, and it was supposed to be a revolutionary open world game that allowed you to touch everything, pick up apples from trees. It was revolutionary. You know what? It's better to see rather than believe. So here's the trailer for the game that was never released for PlayStation VR. Here you go.
As the sun shines in the bright blue sky, I sit here and wonder why. Why do trees sway and the unicorns prance? Why do the griffins in the sky do their dance? Why do the giants walk to and fro? Why does the river flow way down low? All these questions and more I do ask, for knowing all in the world is no easy task. Helios is a kingdom you will get to know before you die and your mind turns to snow.
So, what did you guys think? I mean, this was a project that we spent 2 years working on with about 15 people and ended up not going anywhere. I mean, creating a game is hard, guys. So yeah, to answer your question, Flumfen, if I were the master of video game puppets, I would definitely make this game. This game was so good and it had so many good ideas, but it was a little bit too ahead of its time, I suppose. Maybe one day we'll go back to it. So the next question is from one of my Instagram regulars, Kaipsi Gaming. Why did you decide to live in Madrid? I always wanted to know that. To answer this question, I also have to answer another question by another one of my Instagram followers called Service Gamer. Why are you the Dutch gamer but living in Spain? I was originally born in The Hague, Den Haag in Holland, but I moved here when I was 6 years old to a very famous town called Benidorm. I lived there till I was 18, after which I moved to Holland to study in Maastricht, after which I moved back to Spain to start working, after which I moved back to Holland for work-related reasons, after which I moved back to Madrid to study again, and I kind of got stuck here. So life kind of pulled me back to Spain and to Madrid. I got married and now I'm here working and making these videos for you guys. So that's why I'm in Madrid, and that's why I'm a Dutch gamer but living in Spain. Next question is from another Instagram regular of mine, Robin's Retro. His question is, what is your most favorite game console? Well, that's an easy question to answer. I absolutely love the Nintendo 64. All these games are N64 games, and a couple down there as well, but they're loose. So I'm not showing you guys those. You see plenty of those on my Instagram feed anyway. So it was so exciting to first own that console, and playing Mario 64 for the first time was just mind-blowing. I mean, there's so many good games on that console. So many! So yeah, N64 all the way. So the next question is by Retro Fred. Hey mate, how big is your collection? How big is your collection? No, but seriously now, I own between 350 and 400 games. I own games from the NES, from the Super NES, Game Boy Advance, well, all the Game Boy series really, N64 obviously, GameCube, Mega Drive, what else? Xbox One, Xbox 360, I mean, everything except for PlayStation, really. I don't know. I guess I'm a Nintendo and Microsoft fanboy. So the next question is from Huggy Bear 1696. Which is your favorite game that you always keep going back to play? My favorite game that I always keep going back to play is The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. This game is just so unique, so different. It's so different from anything Nintendo ever did, and it's so different from all the other Legend of Zelda entries. It's just fantastic. Plus it's aged just brilliantly. So it's a game that I keep going back to. Now I'm playing it for like literally the 20th time on the Nintendo 3DS because, I don't know, it's just wonderful. Recommend it. Play it again. Play it again. So the next question is by Game Rivals. Hey, name a game you were really looking forward to, but in the end you got disappointed with. Oh god, I don't want to say it. Cyberpunk. I was looking forward to that game for ages, and I think all of us were. All of us who love games as a hobby or professionally looked forward to this game, and CD Projekt Red, I mean, I think overpromised a bit, because when it arrived it was just such a mess. I mean, I first played it on my Xbox One X and it was just so disappointing. But now I'm playing it on the Xbox Series X and it's really, really good. So actually, that's the answer. Cyberpunk really disappointed me, but now it's actually really good. I mean, that's kind of what CD Projekt Red does. They release a game and it's terribly buggy, and then at some point in the future after releasing the game, it's suddenly a masterpiece. So I guess this is going to be the same. I guess we're just going to have to wait for another couple of patches until this is just absolutely brilliant. But I'm having a good time with it. So yeah, play it on the Xbox Series X or on the PlayStation 5 or on the PC, and you're just fine. So the next question is by Sneltje, another one of my Instagram regulars. Hey, what was your first ever experience with the following, and how do you look to it now? Number 1, JRPG. 2, first Nintendo console. 3, handheld console. 4, first brawler game. 5, first Sega 16-bit game. 6, first CD-based game. That's a ton of questions. Alright, let's take them one by one. My first JRPG was Final Fantasy X. I had never played a JRPG before, and when this first arrived on my PlayStation 2, I mean, it was revolutionary. The story was great, the graphics were incredible, and I think I spent 120 hours playing that game and fully finishing all the quests and getting all the ultimate weapons for all characters. I still play it today. This is another one I come back to every once in a while. My first Nintendo console was the NES. I got it as a Christmas present from my grandparents, and I think my brother and I played that thing for years together with the Game Boy. But this is definitely the first Nintendo console I owned, the Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES. I already answered your next question with the previous one. So what was my first handheld console? The Game Boy. Mine's a bit of a mess, getting a bit yellow, gonna have to clean it. but it was the first ever handheld console I owned, and it ate up all my batteries, all my money to buy new batteries, and time because I couldn't stop playing Tetris. That was also the first handheld game I played, Tetris. Still play today. My first brawler game that I played and owned was Double Dragon for the Game Boy. Such a good game, so revolutionary for the times, and I also owned this on the NES, even though I can't find the cart anymore. Don't know where I put that, but definitely my first brawler game was Double Dragon. My first Sega 16-bit game. You have some really good questions, mate. My first Sega 16-bit game was Sonic the Hedgehog. I suppose that's the same for everyone. I suppose we all played that game to bits when it first arrived. Everyone wanted to own a Mega Drive or a Genesis and Sonic the Hedgehog. I still own it, it's in perfect condition, and I still love that game to bits today. That Green Hill Zone tune is just stuck in everyone's brain, isn't it? Now here's the answer to the sixth and last question, Steltje. Thank you so much for your questions. My first CD-based game was actually for the PlayStation, and it was, here's the GameCube version, Metal Gear Solid. So Metal Gear Solid really changed the way I saw games. It was the first game that had a very cinematic story. It was a game that had fantastically fleshed out characters and just graphics that blew everything out of the water at the time. And it still is a wonderful game to play today. So, and it's one of the games I always recommend to anyone who's starting out with video games. Play Metal Gear Solid. It's a Hideo Kojima masterpiece. Go ahead and play it. You won't regret it. It's absolutely wonderful. Next question is by Retro Game Papa yet again. Another one of my Instagram regulars. What's your favorite color? There you have it. Mario Red. Big Nintendo fanboy. Flumfen yet again. What's your favorite game of all time? I actually don't have a favorite game. I have two favorite games. One is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. The other one is Skies of Arcadia. Now, Ocarina of Time is a game that I always remember fondly because I got that for Christmas months after it first released. And I remember playing it for the first time and being blown away by the fantastic story, by the amazing characters, by the 3D world Nintendo had so delicately created for all the fans. And I still love it today. The music is also absolutely wonderful, and it's a game everyone should play. Everyone with a love of video games should play this game. So my other favorite game is Skies of Arcadia. Now this is a JRPG that was originally made by Sega and Overworks, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Overworks. And it was just such a wonderful experience. The moment you started playing, it dragged its hooks into you and it wouldn't let go until you finished it. And it's a game that sadly will probably never get remade. So the only chance you have is to shell out hundreds of euros to get your hands on one of these, or to get your hands on the Dreamcast edition, which is also quite expensive. But definitely, if you have the chance to get your hands on one of these, please do. It's absolutely wonderful. Both these games are top-notch. So I hope you get the chance to play them. Probably this one easier than that one. Question by Meister Geek. Which Zelda game do you consider the worst, less interesting? Wow! I like all Zelda games. Let's see, which one do I find less interesting? So if I had to choose any Zelda game to consider my worst, less interesting, I'd have to choose The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass. Now, I have finished this game, but I've only finished it once, compared to other Zelda games which I finished multiple times. But this one just didn't hook me as much as the others did. So yeah, to answer your question, this one. And one last question by Wonderlau92. Lauren, thanks for the question. You're amazing. Why are you so cool? Well, Lauren, you have been dreadfully misled. I'm not cool at all. You're cool. You're cool. You're definitely cooler than me. Thank you so much for all your support. And those were all the questions. Thank you so much for those of you who took the time to leave your question on my Instagram account at MaxTheDutchGamer. Follow me today for great retro gaming content. I always like to get in touch with my Instagram community. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I hope to share the same kind of gaming love on my YouTube channel as well, which is slowly growing. Slowly. You're all amazing, and the Instagram community is absolutely wonderful, and I hope to get in touch with the YouTube community as well and share the same kind of love over there. So hit subscribe, hit like if you liked the video, and hit the bell if you want to be notified about any of my future videos. I look forward to answering more questions in the future. So, thank you very much, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.